Hello, everybody! Welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, featuring the Breath of the Wild 80% Tournament 2022. We got Qualifier number 10 for you today. Commentating for us are Moonswing 27 and Newborn and Salted. Say hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on? Moonswing here.
Hey, everybody, this is Newborn.
So thank you for that, Ricky of Kokiri. As mentioned, this is the Breath of the Wild qualifiers, number 10, any percent. And I am Moonswing 27, and I am joined by the one and only Newborn and Salted. So Newborn, what's going on? How are you? And welcome in.
I'm doing okay. Thank you, the one and only. I'm not sure that I have lived up to that moniker, but it's sure good to be here. I'm excited about the race that we have coming up. We've got some great runners who are featured on screen, as well as a number of runners who are not being featured on the restream this time. So I'm excited to see how things shake out here.
Yeah, definitely stellar lineup, and we're actually going to be kicking this off fairly soon in the next few seconds, so I'm really excited to get going. Obviously, things are going to happen really quickly, so anyone that's here that is maybe new to Breath of the Wild speedrunning, Newborn and I are definitely going to cover some of the tricks that are going on, but you might get a little bit of the bite-sized versions of them just because things are going to be happening very, very quickly. So we're super excited about it. I know, Newborn, you've caught a bunch of some of the other races, but as we get going here, is there anything you're specifically looking for that you're excited to see?
Oh, I'm always curious to see on Plateau specifically who goes for the riskier strats versus who plays it safe. For example, who's going to be going for wind bombs and magnesis and stasis, which are generally the riskier wind bombs, versus who just runs through those in a more casual setting. That tells us a little bit about the comfort level with some of the more advanced strats. So we'll see. I know that Noman, I think, has been going for some of those, as well as Onyx. I'm not sure about CBF and Blue.
Yeah. No, it's very, very true. And you have to take into consideration the setting. Like, this is qualifiers, so there might be some merit to taking things safe and just trying to go for a more consistent run. But also, those that can go in there and take some chances, it's so exciting. I'm all about that. So I'm excited to see what we get here. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a good variety of things here.
Yeah, we know that you're a risk taker, Moonswing. I've got just in case anybody's curious, I've got the standings, the current standings through 9 qualifiers so far, and the top 5 in seeding at this point are Player 5, Xiaoxiami, Woolhikeson, Koroks, and Trevor SR. But we've definitely got still some runners who have yet to get their third time in there, so who could shoot up the leaderboards pretty quickly with some good showings here and tomorrow.
Excellent. Good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we are off. We're getting the Sheikah slate. Again, just bite-size heads up for some of the tricks here coming up. The first thing we're going to see is called the Shrine of Resurrection Scope Clip. So pretty excited about it. Pretty huge discovery when it happened, as it skips the entire first scene.
Yeah, I've not been around long enough to remember the pre-Shrine of Resurrection clip days, so this is all I've ever known.
Yeah, so whenever you pull the scope out, Link kind of shoots back a little bit. And so in that little corner of the wall, you can actually position it so that when he shoots back, he just clips through. And then we're going to climb up this hill. And Cobb, I was just going to bring it up. Cobb Champ bringing up we used to have to push the box in the next room all the way over to the wall and then use that to scope clip out, which was actually, I think, a little bit more interesting than the one now. So, but
definitely fun to go back and watch those old school strats.
Seriously, go to Zelda, go to the leaderboard and just look up old runs. It's so cool. So,
all of our runners getting pretty quick SOR clips there and heading to the first Boko camp, where they're attempting to grab a pot lid, a Boko spear, and depending on how safe they're playing it, some backup food. I saw at least Onyx and CBF grabbing some backup peppers there just in case anything goes south on some of the riskier tricks here on Plateau.
Yeah, it looks like Blue Hawk elected to do that as well afterwards.
Sure.
So, yeah, I would definitely do that, because it's better to do that. Take the extra, 6 seconds to get that item than to go through a reload if you die. So.
Oh, for sure.
All right, so this is going to happen fairly quickly. We're going to see this a lot. So you'll notice that they bonked their shields on a little bit of that clip there. That does what's called setting skew, and that allows them whenever they unequip the shield in a jump, it'll basically shoot Link forward, and that's how they're clipping through that wall. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that's the TLDR of how it works.
think TLDR is the name of the game in an any percent commentary like this, where we don't have time to go into the tricks fully. But this movement glitch that you're seeing, most of our runners doing now, all of them getting ready to do at least, is called a bow lift smuggle slide, or BLSS. And it essentially allows them, unfortunate luck for Onyx, they're getting his pot to break. It essentially allows the runner to glide through the air with a object like a bomb or a pot stuck to their hand, pushing them and wiggling through the sky. Very efficient movement technique, doesn't require any stamina or health usage. So it's the primary way we get around, at least on Plateau these days.
Very, very well said. We're going so fast. It's all happening quickly.
I know.
We got another shield clip going into the bomb shrine here. You can see it on Onyx Ebony's screen. Obviously, yeah, a little bit of misfortune there, having to run a little bit more for the pot. So, but honestly, not too bad. There's going to be mistakes in all of these runs, so it's really just a matter of how you react to them. So everyone's in pretty good shape.
A small mistake here early in the run is by no means a death sentence. You can still get a really excellent time, even with some scuffed movement in the first few splits, or even throughout Plateau. It's really about getting it done as efficiently as you can, and then setting yourself up for a good boss rush in the end.
So we've got some divergence already. Noman going with the safer wind bomb, CBF going for the gamer wind. And that's what that health is for. So essentially what a wind bomb is you're setting up the circle, like one bomb underneath you while you're in bullet time, and then detonating another bomb behind you so it launches Link. The difference in speed by exiting bullet time is what causes him to launch so far. I think is, what is it, like 19 times difference or something like that. It's a little bit easier to illustrate in a bullet time bounce, but we're probably not going to see that in this run. So
not likely. Yeah, the only bullet time bounce that some runners still do is the one to Cryonis, and as far as I know, that's becoming less and less common these days, with most runners opting for a BLSS. Onyx had some tough luck there. It looked like he just missed an input and detonated the wrong bomb, which killed him, but gets gamer wind bomb the second try.
Wow.
Really, really cool when it all comes together like that.
Awesome.
Cobb Champ in chat is saying that Blue Hawk does do the BTB, so we will get to see a little bit of slightly old school BTB action here later on in the run. Excited about that.
Love it. Bring it all day, every day. I'm all about it. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, we're all everyone's kind of fairly in the same spot. Obviously, Onyx Ebony, just again, same kind of delay from before, but honestly, getting that gamer win bomb was pretty clutch. So good job on them for getting that. We're going to see another BLSS here from Noman here. This is the same type of movement that Newborn was talking about before. It gets us to Magnesis super quickly. And Noman's speed is really, really strong. I mean, look how fast that is. That's another element to it, is just how fast you can get the speed. It's based on like how quickly you wiggle the joystick left and right. So, yeah, I mean, that was pretty impressive speed there.
And Noman in particular should have a good feel for that technique, because if I remember correctly, he was one of the ones doing some cast testing to determine optimal wiggle patterns and just how quickly one needs to wiggle to get up to speed cap efficiently. So we can see that those skills on display there. CBF, unfortunately, having a little bit of trouble getting the BLSS started, and heading to a different spot because that Guardian was giving them a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah, it's always a pain getting that Guardian cutscene, but it happens to the best of us. So yeah, definitely a little bit of divergence here. Noman kind of taking a pretty significant lead here already with the Magnesis rune as the others try to catch up. So
I always wonder if the runners in the race are watching where other runners are at on the restream and making real-time decisions about how to play it based on, like Noman, for example, not going for a safer strat and just running through Magnesis. And you got to wonder if that is affected by the fact that he's got a decently substantial lead for the early game here right now.
Definitely. Alpha's watching. Alpha TZR, who's also in the race, is watching.
Good for you, Alpha.
And also listening. So way to multitask, Alpha. Good stuff. And CBF too.
CBF checking in. Nice.
All right. Well, Noman is up to 2 Spirit Orbs. So everyone else, let's see, CBF and Onyx just are getting their Sheikah Slates all set up here. Let's see if anyone goes for that Canal Wind Bomb.
It's like
Looks
Onyx
like
is about to. Looks pretty good. Nicely done.
Very, very nice.
That's
I can
such
never
a
do that.
risky strat, but it I think I read the timings on that save about 7 or 8 seconds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's pretty. Which is a decent amount. Here comes the crazy Monkasteer.
Oh no!
All right, Noman. Unfortunately, losing. We didn't really mention it before, but if the stick while you're in a BLSS goes into like the center, the dead center, it'll actually drop. CBF doing the wind bomb, it didn't get quite over, and thankfully that damage against the wall did not kill him. Just made it. So they just made it, I should say. But yeah, Noman trying to recover this this BLSS here over to the stasis area.
This particular slide is so unforgiving because if you're not going really fast, that slope just kills all of your momentum. But he recovered from that pretty well, all things considered.
Onyx just cruising right through. Wow.
You can see how much of a difference a really good BLSS makes there.
Absolutely beautiful. Again, the speed here is so impressive by all the runners.
Absolutely. This this wind bomb up to stasis is one of the trickier wind bombs in Plateau. There's not really one of the disadvantages of BLSS is that there's no efficient way of gaining height, and so when we're starting from the Magnesis Shrine, which is the lowest in elevation, or one of the lowest in elevation on Plateau, and heading up to stasis, which is significantly higher, we've got to incorporate a wind bomb here to gain the height up to that ledge where the shrine is located.
Oh man, Blue Hawk getting that rough wind bomb. This wind bomb is so frustrating is the word, I would say. It looks easy, but it's really not. It's one of those things where, yes, if you do see even CBF, wow.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. CBF just hit the lip and still rolled forward. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's like a 50-50. If you end up hitting the lip, you might get lucky and momentum pushes you forward, or you might roll all the way back down and be stuck with the reload.
So I must have been not paying attention, but it looks like Onyx is catching up to Noman here. I know that Onyx just unfortunately messed up that wind bomb, but pretty close otherwise, though, right behind Noman. Did Noman maybe Noman... maybe I just missed something on Noman's stream before that.
It was mostly the him dropping the BLSS on the way to stasis, and Onyx had a really good BLSS, which closed most of the gap there.
Thank you. That makes sense. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you see Noman now using the stasis rune and the Boko Spear to charge up this boulder. And he's going to take a little boulder elevator ride up to the cold area and use this tree stump to initiate another BLS slide. That'll take him all the way to the Cryonis Shrine.
CBF with the perfect stasis wind bomb.
That stasis wind bomb is so satisfying when it all goes well. Blue Hawk making it up on this attempt. I'm sure glad to be up there and not have to deal with that tree wind bomb again.
All right, here comes the... Noman is going to go for just the classic shield clip here on Cryonis. We'll see if anyone elects to do an ESC, which is an extended shield clip. Or no, is that what it's called? I don't even know.
Yeah, the ESC extended shield clip. I'm going to guess that both Onyx and CBF will do it. I feel like I've seen both of them relying on the ESC over the old school standard shield clip. But we'll see.
Well, if they do it, it's basically doing 2 shield clips in one. That's why it's called extended. Yeah, it looks like Onyx is going to go for it. So they re-equip the shield kind of in like mid-air almost while they're in the wall and then unequip it. So it's like kind of like doing 2 in a row. But it's very precise. A lot more precise than it looks.
Onyx got really unfortunate there on that first attempt because it looked like he had the right frame, and it appeared that he was clipping through, and then it pushed him back out, which can happen. It's just one of those unfortunate things with ESC. CBF going for the extended shield clip as well. And Blue Hawk still finishing up the Stasis Shrine. Going a more casual route, running through and using Stasis to knock the boulder out of the way.
No shame in that. I was just doing that earlier today.
Absolutely not.
I can't do that shield jump. Some people will elect to shield jump past it, and I never ever do that because I'm too bad and I hate falling. But yeah, good stuff. It looks like Noman here is up to the 4 spirit orbs. They're going to talk to the old man and head on their way to get the paraglider, and then we've got some more exciting action to follow. If this wasn't exciting enough, we've got some castles to traverse and some bosses to fight.
Yeah, with some really Castle just is very not that Plateau isn't fast paced, but Castle really amps it up in terms of movement. There's really no breaks, no pauses, and then the boss rush after is just a constant flurry of combat activity. So if it seemed crazy so far, it's only going to get crazier.
Here comes Blue Hawk with the BTB. That looks a little early. No, it's good. Oh yeah, it was just a teensy bit early.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's interesting.
That's a really neat strat. So what Blue Hawk was doing, I actually don't know what that's called. It's been so long since I've seen that. What's that called? Where it's storage, right?
Slate storage, I think is what it was called. You don't see a whole lot of runners go for that anymore, and now that BTBs are less common. I didn't see where they set that up at. That's really interesting. Oh, I guess right there on that slope. So part of the struggle with the BTB when you don't have the paraglider is that you've got a fall damage cancel out of it, and sometimes the timing there can be pretty tight. And so slate storage is a glitch that stores the opening camera animation for the first time and essentially gives you a free fall damage cancel. And you can see it in action there. Again, he lands safely and does not have to do the fall damage cancel because of that scope or camera animation. Or not camera, the scope animation.
That's a really cool strat. I have not seen it applied there. It used to mainly be applied for Magnesis to try to get unloaded. I really, really think that's neat. That's a really cool strat. Meanwhile, everyone else just kind of trying to get over. Ooh, did Onyx take a death? Because I saw Onyx heading to paraglider before.
Oh, I might have missed that as well.
Looks like Noman's electing to grab the Razor Shroom over here.
Well, since the qualifiers are no amiibo exclusively, I think we'll see all of our runners come to this cache of Razor Shrooms.
That's right. My mistake. I forgot this was no amiibo.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
After qualifiers, when we get into bracket play, the runners will make a collective choice in the head-to-head matchups whether to play amiibo or no amiibo, and you expect amiibo to be the more common choice there because that's how most runners prefer to do it.
And just to catch people, like the reason why we're talking about this is they're going to be looking to cook a triple attack food for the boss fights, and so what we're doing, and you're going to see more of this actually in the castle, but they're basically just collecting the ingredients that they're going to need to cook one of those meals. And Tal did mention that, yeah, Onyx died on the roof, so that's what happened there. So that's definitely a little bit of misfortune that came up there.
All right, Noman entering the castle and fortunately getting the gate to stay unloaded. And what you're seeing him do right now is kind of a cool new-ish strat where you headshot the moblin in order to disorient them, and it lets you get the sneak strike in more quickly. But the castle cutscene might play some havoc with that. No, looks like he's got it okay.
So yeah, Noman.
Go ahead, Moon.
We're going to be collecting, as mentioned, basically these weapons that are for the blight fights. So these claymores are extremely important because not only do they have high attack power, but they're the swinging kind where you spin swings, which are really helpful in fights. Going to grab these ancient arrows as well as this trilazal boomerang for some single-handed fighting as well.
It looks like Onyx must have taken another death there. I was watching Noman's screen, which is unfortunate. But one thing to point out is that Onyx is using a really consistent setup to get a fast step up on the ledge heading towards Temple of Time, where there's a lot of randomness in BLSS step up sometimes, and it's pretty rare to have a setup that consistently gets you momentum in the right direction. But it was really cool to see him consistently doing that.
So CBF got the clip into the gate as well, also going for the traffic here. No one's going to grab... Go ahead.
Moon.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I was just going to say that here in Castle, we're likely to see two possible different routes that runners use. Noman went for the safer and slightly slower route, in which you stay inbounds and grab 6 ancient arrows. The faster but riskier route only grabs 3 ancient arrows and incorporates some out of bounds movement, including mid-air wind bombs. So we may see Onyx, for example, doing that, knowing that he needs to make up some time, or desiring to play catch up a little bit.
And that divergence, if it's going to happen for CBF, will happen for them at this moment. So let's see what they elect to do. And meanwhile, Noman is on their way to attempt the wind blight skip. So, and yeah, CBF those 3 ancient arrows and not do the wall clip. So what Noman is setting up here is basically a very specific spot where, in the middle of cutscenes, arrows actually stay in the same spot that they land when you trigger that cutscene. So what they're attempting to do is basically have this arrow be stuck on the eye of this wind blight and essentially kill it in the cutscene. It's a really, really neat glitch. So let's see if they get it.
Looks good. Very nice. Interestingly, in longer categories that require the completion of the Divine Beasts, you can also, there's a setup that exists to skip Calamity Ganon. If the 4 blights are taken care of, the setup is different, but you can take care of Calamity in 1 arrow shot if you know the precise setup to do so.
So Noman has, I would say, a pretty significant lead at this point. They're already past the first phase of Water Blight here, while the others are still trying to just get to Sanctum. So I think there's so much happening in these Blight fights. So I think we'll get a couple chances to explain what's going on a little bit, but I would just admire the fighting. If you can. There's so much happening, but there's all of these choices are super planned out, super specific. They're all based on the weapons they have. It's really, really quite beautiful if you think about it.
Yeah, the weapons are routed so tightly in any percent that between the Blights and Calamity, they use pretty much all of what they have, to the point where if everything goes according to plan, the bow that they have breaks on the final arrow shot for Calamity and leaves them with an empty arrow inventory, so that they can skip the menuing going into the Bow of Light for Dark Beast Ganon. It's really pretty impressively planned out here. CBF also getting a successful wind blight skip, which is good to see.
I also want to point out Blue Hawk got the Fang. I think it's Nadra's Fang. It's either Nadra or Ferocious Fang.
I think it's Nadra, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to use that. That's going to add a lot more extra time to the attack food potion. It's on the way, so yeah, it does lose time, but I know I like to have that extra insurance that I'm going to be able to get through the fights without the timer going down, because otherwise it's only like 3 minutes and 50 seconds or so, depending on the exact recipe.
Sure, for top runners, typically don't need more than that, and they can even get away with eating the food prior to the last wind bomb up to Sanctum. I know for somebody like me, it helps to have that extra time for wiggle room.
Blue Hawk going for the wall clip here. So this is what Newborn was mentioning before, this route here. You clip through the wall, and then they're going to do another wind bomb over to where that moblet is.
This is really interesting. I've never seen this specific castle route before. they did the wind bomb and are emerged at a different spot here. It looks like they're in the old, what is this, the armory?
Yeah, I don't know the exact name, but yeah, this is pretty OG. Getting some arrows here. Gonna probably get the weapons from the Moblin here, and then as Cobb Champ mentioned, they're going to probably to the dining hall. Did they not get the Razor Shrooms out in Hyrule Field? I didn't catch if they did or not.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
So that might be why. Oh, they did. Okay.
Huh. This is very.
I stand corrected.
So Noman here heading into the Calamity Ganon fight. One of the really cool things about this fight is that if it's done optimally, especially with the 6 Ancient Arrow route, you can get it done so quickly that it guarantees that Calamity won't go to the wall in Phase 1. Unfortunately, Noman missing that Flurry Rush there on the vertical slash attack, but heading to get some Bomb Arrows to spam Bomb Arrow headshots to take down most of Calamity's health for Phase 1.
Let's see if how Onyx does on the Wind Blight skip here.
Looks like he did a safety save there just in case. Bluehawk, unfortunately, is doing the old school wind bombs up to Sanctum from the dining hall, but flipped one of those turrets and got knocked off course there, so having to do a little bit of climbing to make up ground.
All right, Noman, excellent Phase 1. Really, really solid Phase 1 on Calamity. They're going to go for instant wall, though. It's a shame. Calamity can do that sometimes and be very rude.
He can. And especially after I just bragged about how a good Phase 1 practically guarantees no wall. He had to go and make me look bad.
Oh
no!
Oh, no.
Noman going a little risky and trying to parry those quick lasers, and timing didn't work out there. And the really unfortunate thing is that this puts him all the way back at the beginning of the Blight fights. He's got to go from square one here, which totally shakes up the race. Now we've got CBF working through Phase 1 of Calamity and Onyx, now ahead of where Noman is. Noman basically tied with Bluehawk at this point in terms of the on-screen runners.
It is still anyone's game, honestly.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is anyone's game. You know, this, you have to keep in mind for anyone that's watching this, it's like Link's got no armor, he's in his underwear, he's fighting all these bosses with 4 weapons, or 5 weapons, whatever it is, if you count the bows. And right on cue, oh my goodness, commentator's curse. I'm so sorry, CBF. I'm so sorry, CBF, getting a death there. I'll take full blame for that. You can, I'm so sorry.
Commentator's curse. Come on, Moon, you know better.
I know. I'm so sorry.
But when you only have 3 hearts, I mean, I think anything from Thunderblight and beyond is going to one-shot you. There's really no wiggle room, and it's so easy to take a death just from one miscue. Onyx, kind of getting hecked with RNG there. Fireblight voided out very, very quickly and didn't give him a chance to get the 1 cycle. Finishing up Fireblight Phase 2 there and headed into Thunderblight.
Well, going right into Thunderblight, arguably the worst blight or hardest blight.
It feels really good to just smash his face, though, doesn't it? You're just really satisfying, I feel like.
I tell you this, though, I don't imagine that after all of the misfortune that occurred to Onyx that they would be thinking that they would be in the lead at this point.
That's exactly what I was thinking after the struggles with the paraglider split, which is typically, most runners would say, one of the easier splits. To be back in the lead is pretty. It shows you how much chaos goes on in these races. Anything can happen.
Yeah, you don't just reset when you're doing runs. You know, it's a total no reset situation. So you really get to see how people react to adversity. So it's really, really, it can be frustrating, but also kind of beautiful at the same time.
One super tiny thing that just shows how optimized this category is I just saw CBF do it. Noman did it as well. At the end of, I think it's first phase, or maybe second phase, part of second phase Water Blight, they threw the Edge of Duality onto the ground and then immediately picked it back up again, which is simply to improve the menuing it puts the Edge of Duality in a more advantageous menu spot to be able to access it easier later on. So it's just crazy to me that we're at the point of saving literal, fractions of a second with these Blight and Calamity fights.
Yeah, I mean that's next gen. When you're talking about literal menu placement, I mean I can't even menu correctly. I can't even, let alone plan it.
I feel you there.
But yeah, Onyx having a really solid phase 1 for Calamity. Let's see how they get on with phase 2.
Oh, it looks like I misstated a little bit on the Edge of Duality menuing thing. So my bad there. Goodness gracious, Calamity going to the wall here. Let's Prage for a easy attack to parry.
Here we go. Get the spear.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I think the spear is the easiest to react to personally. So that's always the one I'm hoping for. It's also quick.
I'm on Team Fireball because the spear freaks me out a little bit, but I know I can get that fireball no problem.
We should probably explain this. We can finally explain the stun lock.
Go for it.
So essentially, and I don't know the specifics of why it works, but essentially, only in normal mode, not in master mode, they patched it out for that. But in normal mode, if you specifically land like a downward swing on a very kind of like, it's a pretty wide window of time. I know I believe Lim teaches that you kind of do it based off when the spike goes into the ground. But you can essentially just cause Calamity Ganon to consistently fall to the ground and effectively do a stun lock. So it's now moving on past Calamity, so good stuff.
Yeah, it takes phase 2, which as a casual player is far, far more difficult than phase 1, and turns it into, really just a formality once you have the timing down. It's such a reliable strat that you can melt right through Calamity phase 2.
So Noman, speaking of, Noman is working still on phase 1, unfortunately getting some of the elemental attacks from Calamity, which can take a very, very long time. Did they run out of bomb arrows, I assume?
Must have run out of arrows, yeah.
Yeah.
Get some redemption there with the quick lasers and parrying one back, and he must have not gotten the laser because he still has that Royal Guard's Claymore that would have been thrown. There we go. Finishing up phase 1 there.
For those that don't know, Onyx is essentially going through this last sequence here where they're just going to be waiting for Ganon to show the Triforces on them and shoot them with the Bow of Light. Some people call it an auto-scroller. I never like to call anything that's gameplay an auto-scroller because then that will make me not pay attention and then I will die and have to restart from there many times. That's never happened to me before.
Of course not. Not me either. Definitely only seen it happen to other people only. Alright, looks like Blue Hawk heading into phase 2 Calamity. It's really astonishing how much parity we've seen between these runners at different times, them all being in similar parts of the race. And it looks like Crazy AZ, who's not featured on the restream, is finished in first place. So GG's to Crazy.
GG, Crazy. Well done. Well done.
Hopefully we'll get some of these runners in for an interview here once more of our runners wrap up.
Hello.
Yeah. Who we joined by? We got Crazy
AZ.
Crazy AZ. GG.
Thank you.
How did things go for you? We didn't have you on the stream.
I'm surprised I won. It was a decently good race for me, but I'm still surprised I won. I had a pretty amazing beginning. I managed to gold both Magnesis and Stasis back to back,
Wow,
which was
GG.
really good. So that was my best start to a run. I followed up the gold on Stasis by exiting the monk cutscene too early and losing 7
Classic.
seconds.
There you go.
And then had some more mishaps at Cryonis. And then the biggest issue was I actually died failing a fall damage cancel onto Temple of Time. But other than that...
You're not alone there, because we saw some of that on stream here, or on the restream. GG's to Onyx, by the way, who just finished in second place.
Yes, GG's Onyx.
Looks like we're
Yeah.
going to get Lucamon 23, or we already have them in place of Onyx. They're in second phase Water Blight right now. Crazy, how did your castle and boss fights go?
Castle had loaded gate. I had some horrendous loads coming in on that BLSS. But other than that, went quite well. Blights went well. Calamity was a little funky because I missed the first Flurry Rush and had to sort of make some things up and get him off the wall. But glad I survived it all, and that's what matters.
Right, a little bit of improvisation and surviving by the skin of your teeth, right?
Absolutely. I don't know. This is like, something is just off on my like vertical strike Flurry Rush right now. I've messed that up quite a bit recently, but just a little bit of practice in the lab. Hopefully that'll get figured out.
Yeah, for sure. It's a fairly tight timing window. It's not quite as forgiving as the horizontal fire sword swipe thing.
Which kind of sucked, but
Yeah, did you think that we were watching, and obviously that was just a ton of misfortune that happened, but before you knew it, you were actually in the lead. Before a lot of people died. Their calamity fights. Yeah,
I wasn't feeling too great. Yeah, I don't have the stream open when I run, so I didn't know where I was, but I did go like into calamity and noticed no one had finished yet. So I was like, okay, well.
It's fortunate luck there for sure. Welcome in Anti and CBF.
Hello.
Welcome
Hey.
in, friends. GG.
GG's.
GG's.
GG's to all of you. Either of you, CBF or Anti, want to kind of talk us through the highlights or lowlights of your run?
Anti?
Yep. Okay. My run was going really well. Up until like Cryo, I wasn't making any major mistakes. Like I got like a second try template time clip. Like it was overall good up until Cryo, where I messed up the ESC a bit and had a bit of slow entry. And then I was still on PB pace, and then I mega choked and lost like, I don't know, two minutes in the castle splits because I messed up the BLSS from Shrooms to castle, and then I managed to correct myself and then get back on the way to castle. And then when I got there, I like flubbed the jump off the staircase like an old person, and then got noticed by the moblin, and then I had to reload and then do the whole thing all over again.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That'll set you behind a little bit for sure.
Yeah, but the rest of the run went amazing.
Yeah, I mean, third place, it's good stuff. Congrats on that. It's nothing to scoff at. GG's to you, and appreciate the feedback there. I know that we also got CBF here as well as Noman. GG, guys.
Thank you.
Oh man, that was rough.
No, man, I feel your pain. I died at the same exact time. No.
Yeah, it was a wild ride to watch from our perspective because the two of you took on really unfortunate deaths so close to each other, and
Thanks,
with the Forerunners so close
for
together.
mentioning it. By the way.
I'm so sorry. It's my fault. It's my fault.
I was like, oh, 2019 LeBron James, I have no help here, man.
Ooh. Sneaking in the NBA. Okay, I see you.
I had to, just for Moon. No, honestly, I think past Magnesis, I had a really solid run all the way up until Calamity. I actually, interestingly enough, got the slam with the Royal Guard's Claymore, and I didn't get an opportunity to throw it, and then got immediate laser, and then that's where I died.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was unfortunate for me. That bombs to Magnesis split was total garbage. I accidentally pressed the map, so that's why I dropped, and then I couldn't get a good BLS spot, so that took forever.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was definitely a struggle. I remember that part for UCBF. That was a struggle.
Having to
And almost
improvise
falling off the
BLS
cliff.
step ups like that is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But almost falling off the cliff due to the tree wind bomb as well. That was fun.
Oh, we were. Did you hear us talking about that?
Yeah.
We were.
We were clenching it for you.
Oh yeah, same. No,
You
but
literally
overall,
did the roll up. You know, you hit the
Yeah.
lip and then roll forward. Crazy.
You gotta have it. But no, overall a good run, I think, for myself. Again, I think it was just a matter of finishing, just to get like a decent time. I really wasn't looking for. I mean, like, I was on no amiibo PB pace up until the dev. So for me, like, that was nice. But I mean, other than that, again, like, you're racing against some. At least for myself, I'm like watching the stream while everybody's racing. So like watching Onyx, Noman, and then crazy AZGGs on your #1 finish. Hell yeah, love that.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, super proud of you, bud. So yeah, Noman, thoughts?
That should have easily been another 26, but
You're a monster.
oh god.
You were, yeah. Not to. I don't want to rub salt in the wound, Noman, but you were like way out, kind of talking about how just solid and amazing. You were really far ahead against everyone else, at least in the 4 that we were watching. So it just was super painful. We know Newborn noticed that you got some revenge though on Calamity with that parry that you did while you were crouched, like one of the quick laser parries. You got it back. The same thing that killed you. The same thing that killed you. You got him back.
The thing is, for that was my fault, because the first time around in Calamity, even if he, okay, well, first I missed the flurry rush, so obviously that's my fault. The second thing is, when he's doing those quick lasers, I had the shield that could tank all the hits, so there was no point in me ever crouching. Crouch canceling doesn't do anything for me there. I just have to keep trying to press A for the parry, and I keep blocking it if I do it a little too late. So there was no point in me crouching. That was another mistake on my part. So yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't thinking.
It happens. In the qualifiers, it's just the trying to survive and rack up as many points as you can for a quality seed. But when you get into bracket play, it's anybody's game as well on any given matchup. So.
Yeah, that's true. I guess bracket or qualifiers isn't really. It's not really too important.
Well, especially since you can drop your lowest if you do more than 3. If you do 4 qualifiers, you can drop the lowest of the 4, which gives you a nice little safety net, I guess. If you have one bad run, it's not going to sink you.
Yeah, I mean, well, I already forfeit the first race, so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
less safety net then, I guess.
Yeah.
I definitely was feeling nice. I was like, as long as this run is faster than a 38, I will have improved my score. And it took a nice pressure off, I think.
Yeah, crazy. Because I too forfeit my first race, and I backed myself against the wall, having to do the last 4 of all of them. So just finishing the run is good.
Well, fortunately, with 36 spots in the bracket, and I think only 37 runners signed up, nobody's really at risk of not making it into bracket play, but you definitely want to give yourself a more advantageous first round matchup with a higher seed for sure.
Definitely.
Well, everyone you guys all gave us a great race, so thank you for being willing to broadcast what you were doing, up against the others. It was a fantastic race. Really loved watching it. We still have we're just kind of catching up with Future and Lukeman here on their Beast Ganon fight, so I want to make sure we give respect to them and cheer them on as they kind of wrap this up. Did anyone hear? Oh, we're joined by Blue Hawk. Excellent. Yeah, I wanted to mention Blue Hawk just loved some of your routing, like that routing where you did the clip out and then you ended up going to where the Lizzie was and kind of did some of the old school dining hall tricks. That was really neat to watch. I don't know if you're here, but you might be on mute.
Might be deafened.
Oh, he's back now.
GG's, Blue Hawk.
GG's.
GG's.
I'll take your silence as a thank you.
He's made a few words.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it looks like they were getting a little bit of trouble with the audio. But yeah, just for everyone else in the collective group, They did the clip out. Or maybe you're all familiar with Blue Hawk's routing, but it was new to me. But yeah, they did the clip out near the pot, and then instead of going to, the Moblin where the Royal Guards bow is, they actually went toward the dining hall, and it's just really fun to watch. You know me, I always love to route things the unconventional way, so it was really cool to see Blue Hawk kind of pull that off in a run. So GG's to them.
Was it the
Yeah,
other...
that's just the
old
the non-razor
route.
shroom no amiibo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, they got the razor shrooms though.
No, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah, so what we used to do is we used to go through the new weapon routing and then clip out to the other side of castle where you would go through dining hall and then grab like an extra royal claymore and a few other items and then do the wind bomb chain that we typically would do to get to Sanctum. Is that what they do?
Yeah, that sounds like what they were doing, or at least very similar to that.
Yeah, that's how we used to do it.
Yeah, I had not seen that. It was really interesting to watch that, and perhaps not as fast, but it's always nice for some variety and to see some different routing choices to be able to talk.
Yeah. P5 actually forfeited. Cobb, to answer your question, sorry. But GG's the future.
Yeah, GG future.
GG future.
GG.
GG's.
And Lukeman coming up here with the final shot in the eye.
Do any of you in here have plans on, or do you still have qualifiers left to run, or have you completed your 3 or 4 runs already?
I've still got one more.
I have 2. I'll be.
I'm all done.
GG
Good.
Lukeman.
Yeah,
Lukeman 23.
Let's go, GG. Yeah, no, this was my 4th one, so I'm essentially done.
Sure. 2 more qualifiers coming up tomorrow for anybody who might be interested in tuning it. I don't remember the time specifically off the top of my head, but they've all been great races so far. So make sure you check up and tune in tomorrow for those final 2 qualifiers.
Does any of the runners have anything to throw in here as we begin to wrap this up?
ESC is still bad.
Always.
Never. ESC every time. Even if you don't need it, just do it. But yeah.
ESC castle while the gate's still unloaded.
Yes.
That's the strat right there.
I'm all about it.
Ultimate focus.
Well, Newborn, I think I just want to say thanks for commentating with me. I want to give a huge shout out to Ricky of Kokiri for working in the background and keeping us all alive and making sure that everyone looks pretty. So thank you to Ricky of Kokiri for doing that. Seriously, it's a thankless
Ricky.
job.
Thanks, Ricky.
Thanks, Ricky.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Colin.
runners as well for
You to
putting
the
on the show.
commentary team as well.
Yeah. Moonswing and Newborn.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was really fun, and Newborn, I had an absolute blast doing this with you, and just GG's to all the runners. I'll let you, wrap it up. But I just want to say thanks and great job to everyone.
Indeed, and I don't have anything much more to say. Thanks, Moonswing, and thanks to all the runners and to Ricky as well. And we'll look forward to a couple of great final qualifier races tomorrow.
All right, and speaking of qualifiers, tomorrow 8 p.m. Wait, am I reading that right? No, I'm sorry. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, we have qualifier number 11, and at 8 p.m. Eastern is qualifier number 12, which I believe is the final one for the qualifiers. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up here for us. We're going to go raid ZSR2 to give their Zelda 2 100% All Keys tournament some support. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you had a wonderful time, and have a wonderful rest of your night. Bye!
Bye.